Well, some unfortunate news that we're going to have to talk about and that we keep as a reoccurring topic here on Clapback Culture is these mass shootings. But fortunately, this shooting was not mass, but it is newsworthy and we should talk about it. So there was another shooting in Texas that happened at a summer camp, if you will. And so there's a 42-year-old gunman who entered an organization called the Fieldhouse, you guys. And so eyewitnesses say that he went in, he seemed non-threatening, that he started to bring attention to himself. He lit a cigarette. Coaches came up to kind of ask what he was doing there. He got a little bit combative and then drew for a weapon. The eyewitness said that she grabbed her kids. She was at the counter paying for their lunches, hid into another room, heard gunshots, and the police responded within minutes and took down the gunman who did try to enter the classrooms where the students were. We do have a clip. Let's go ahead and play it and we'll talk more about it.
This morning, families in Texas thankful their children are safe after a man entered a summer camp armed with a handgun.
He had texted me and said, "Mom, I think someone's entered the field house with a gun."
150 kids were inside the Dallas area facility when police say the gunman fired at least one shot inside the building. Quick thinking camp staffers heard the shot and jumped into action, ushering the children to safety.
They just told us to stay quiet, and we were in the men's room, so there were showers in there, so we hid in the showers.
One camper says
Well, this could have got ugly quick. And obviously the police were able to respond. I mean, we did not see that at Riggs Elementary School, but golly, you can't even send your kids to summer camp without something crazy happening. It turns out that the shooter was also a convicted felon. So the idea and logic around the fact that he did have a firearm, obviously was either an illegal firearm. They're looking more into that. But what do we think here? Grocery stores, churches, summer camps, schools. I mean, it's everywhere. What's the conversation around this gun reform that we need to be having? Am I the only one who can't hear Besa?
The sirens were doing a lot over here, so I didn't go mute. But what I was saying is, I can't remember if I seen it on TikTok or on someone's YouTube, but it was probably TikTok to be honest. But they were comparing our gun laws versus gun laws in other countries. Like there's countries where you have to take tests and then you have to take another test and then you have to like buy this permit and you have to be this age and then you have to take a psych test. And it's like all these different levels and barriers. And then you have to do training. And ours, you just really have to be 18 and have like, somewhat of a clean record. And so I understand when people are like, we don't really know how to do gun control, but it's like, if we didn't make it so damn easy for like literally people are 18, 19 buying these guns and they're shooting stuff up. And then someone is like, well, when he came in and bought the gun, he seemed normal. I didn't think anything of it, but it's not my job. Even me as a radio host, it's not my job to talk to one of my listeners and be like, well, they seem normal. Well, yeah, they seem normal to me. I'm an influencer. I'm a radio host. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. It's not my job to judge if you are sane or not. So it's always interesting to me when they say that rather than making it just a wee bit, like just adding an extra 2 or 3 steps, I feel like would be helpful. But the simple fact that you really just have to be 18, sign some paperwork, pay for it, and go on about your day. There's no psych evaluation. There's no medical record check. There's no, training, no nothing. I think that's a huge issue that we have here. And, a lot of other countries have that and they don't have the same issues.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Leon's also agreeing with you in the comments. It's one of those situations where you have to really think about what more can we do. And I don't think it's much to ask to include more, do a more thorough investigation in those background checks, right? Like, I just don't think it's a big ask. Like, we should be trying to do everything to really change the laws around guns and how people can be able to have access to them, and really think about maybe a revocation process, right? Like, what happens in order for you to get your gun taken away, your firearm taken away? And I think it's bigger than this idea of mental health, even though that's a huge crisis. And to your point, we're not psychiatrists. And so the people who are the experts do need to get out there and do their part. And us as civilians, we need to continue to advocate to our local officials to be able to really change some stuff in Congress. We need some legislation around this. And really something strong that we can get behind. I really love what Canada did, right? Their prime minister showed up and showed out. Okay. He said that he is banning all high capacity magazines, that he's banning the illegal trade and selling of firearms at the moment. And so he just put an instant stop to it. And I think, sometimes we have to see things be a big change in an instant in order for us to kind of have other things follow. And so that's what I'm looking for America to do. Let's just step in and just do something big. Let's do something massive. Let's try something, because what we're doing right now is not helping.
Period.
Period, Pooh.